Hello friends, welcome to the InNews series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today's session is about Supreme Court order on the definition of the forest. As you already know that climate change, forest, environments are crucial topics to study for your UPSC exams, and these are the crucial topics where every government is looking for it. So that's why we have chosen this topic, and this topic is important for GS2 as well as GS3 perspective. So moving towards the points of discussion part. First of all, we are going to discuss the news, then we are going to discuss petitioner's argument, then what is the Supreme Court order on this particular issue, then Amendment Forest Act, that what amendment we have made to the Forest Acts, and then practice question for prelims. Before that, you have to like, share and subscribe to the Drishti IAS channel. Moving to the news part. So in the Supreme Court, there were a bunch of petitions which had argued about that whatever the amendments made into the previous Forest Act that were not up to the mark and that had diluted the definition of the forest, and because of that Supreme Court has given its order, and according to that order Supreme Court had asked the government to refer the definition of the forest which it has already given into the particular case. And what was that case we are going to discuss in today's session. So this is the news we are going to discuss in today's class. Moving to the next slide. Next slide is about petitioner's argument. So the petitioners has argued that Section 1A introduced through the Amendment Act had circumscribed and substantially diluted the definition of the forest, and it has declared forest into the two categories. The first category is declared forest and the second category is the lands recorded as forest in government records after 1980. So the petitions had argued that, because of the dilution, the definition of the forest has changed and it has created confusion among the people. So that has become a problem for the deforestation. So this was the petitioner's argument. On the other hand, what is the argument of the government? So the government had said that definitely they had amended and they had inserted the term which is called as the government records. But the government records insertion does not mean that they want to trim the forest land. They have said that they had used this term in order to clarify that forest by any state or union territory authority, local body, councils or recognized community. So in that way they had clarified the definition of the government records and also the status of the forest land, that this land belongs to the government records or not. So for the constant record and for the consolidated record, they have come to this kind of the definition. So this is the petitioner's argument and this is the government's argument. Moving to the next slide. So what is the Supreme Court order into this regard? So Supreme Court has said that you have to revert the definition of the forest and you have to refer the principal definition of the forest which has been given in the judgment of T.N Godavarman Thirumalpad case, and according to that you have to exemplify today's forest definition. And this is not the permanent statute which has been given by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has said that you can consider this definition till the time when the state governments and union government will not come to a consolidated record, and into that record you have to clarify that which land belongs to which persons and which particular state or union government or either the union territory. So without that consolidated data and without that consolidated record, you cannot say that this is a part of the forest. So till that time you have to consider the definition which has been given in the T.N Godavarman and Thirumalpad case. And why this definition is important? In order to protect the forest, because that has already created confusion and so many lands which are not covered and which are not part of the government records that are left like this and that are not noticed even. And onto those land what we have seen that so many plantations and other non-forest activities are happening. So in order to preserve the forest, in order to preserve the environment, the Supreme Court has taken this decision. So this is the Supreme Court clarification into this thing. Moving to the next one, which is Amended Forest Act. So what amendment it has brought to the Forest Act. So first of all, it has redefined the forest in Indian law, because earlier we had law related to the Forest Act. We have Forest Act 1980. We had also the Indian Forest Act 1927, and according to the government, it stipulates only those land that were notified as forest under the Indian Forest Act 1927. So earlier what had happened, that in the British era, so many lands were left like this, that this is the preserved land, this is the for the plantation, and onto the other lands that were not protected by any government records. So it has tried to clarify all those things, and it has also tried to cover all those land, and they had tried to make the record. On the other hand, they had also exempted linear infrastructure project like roads, highways under the border of 100 km of the national border. So if anybody wants to make linear infrastructure on the highways and roads, and if you are within the border of the 100 km, you don't need any forest clearance certificates or any kind of the permission. So this exemption they have given to the 100 kilometers of the national border. And the third one is that the act which was initially applied to the notified forest land was later extended to also the revenue forest land and the lands recorded as the forest in the government records. So this is the amendments which has been made to the Forest Act, and that has created lots of debates and so many confusion regarding this thing. So that's why the Supreme Court has to intervene into this matter. Moving to the question round. So the question is, Godavarman Thirumalpad case is related to, and these are your option: language protection, forest protection, heritage protection, none of the above. And I think you are able to answer this in the comment section. I hope you like this session. If you have any queries related to this session, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.